Well, we made it out of the teens. We're now at episode 20 of the
Big day.
941 Sports Zone. I'm Spitz. He's John, not wide right Masoni, and I mean that was really wide right. We'll get into that.
And I actually felt for both kickers because they both walked into that situation, and we've all been in that. I don't care what it is. If you're having a free throw contest when you were a kid or I got 10 in a row, and then somebody says it, and next thing you know, it's off the back iron. And in this case, two guys coming in there, Carlson with 90 in a row on his extra points. Not Carlson, what's his name? I'm forgetting the Steelers kicker's last name. Is it Carlson?
It's not Boswell, is it?
Yeah, Boswell. Yeah, Boswell. And then the kid Loop.
Yes, Tyler Loop. 29 for 29 inside of 50.
Inside of 50. And they put it in the middle for him. They did everything that you set it up just right. And in both cases, both kickers didn't show, didn't perform. And you feel bad for them because you know that you're the kicker, you're the littlest guy in there normally, and you're off doing your own thing, and you're a specialist, and they carry you off the field when you make one, and they want to kill you when you miss one. It's just the highs and lows. No more of a high and low than that position in any sport for that matter.
We'll get into that. We'll get into a lot of that. That was probably the best game. It was definitely the best game on Sunday. It was probably the best game in quite a while for Sunday Night Football.
Yeah.
We will talk a little bit about the seedings and the matchups for this coming weekend. We'll, of course, hit the college football playoffs. We'll do that first. The Lightning are white hot, and they will face a team tomorrow night that's lost 3 games in regulation out of 41. 3.
Yeah.
And one of them was last night to the Florida Panthers. So it should be interesting. We'll have our locks of the week for the first time this year. John, you step in front of me.
I know.
On locks of the week.
I was a little clairvoyant. I saw the tea leaves properly. That extra, then the extra little side bet we had as well.
Yes, I got the dollar sitting right here. I'll Venmo it.
It's funny because I know we'll get into it too, but it just seemed poetic that was going to happen. And I honestly, if you said us 6 weeks ago, or even I forgot 6 weeks ago, even this week. Buccaneers are better than the Panthers. They are better than them. Panthers are, I wouldn't even call them a team on the rise. I think they might have hit their ceiling with this performance this year. Yeah. But I just thought the Bucs would be able to pull it out, and I thought how interesting it would be for Atlanta to beat New Orleans and put the Panthers in the playoffs.
And of course, with it being the Monday after the season, it is known as Black Monday, and it definitely has been so far for several NFL coaches and a GM or two as well. 941 Sports Zone, episode 20, presented as always by Mighty Dog Roofing of Southwest Florida. They are locally owned and nationally backed, delivering exceptional roofing for homes and businesses up and down the Gulf Coast. 941-251-4257 is the number. 941-251-4257. I have it memorized, and somehow I didn't trust myself. All right. College football playoffs, the quarterfinals are complete. It started on New Year's Eve with Miami with a tremendous defensive performance, upsetting Ohio State 24-14. I know you like them with the points. I know our good buddy, Coach John Peacock.
Moneyline Peacock.
Moneyline Peacock. He was Miami moneyline there, and he was right. This game came down to Miami getting off to a tremendous start, a terrible play call. Yeah, I know the freshman threw the pick, that was just a brutal play call on the pick 6. And then Miami being able to hang on. But quite frankly, they were better on both lines of scrimmage throughout the night.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't like the freshman quarterback in that platform. I thought Miami's defense was going to give him a lot of problems. I didn't see, you and I even mentioned that their running game wasn't as it was in the past couple of years to sort of help out the quarterback. Yeah. And, it's a tough road for a team like Ohio State to kind of go back and go through the playoffs again and come out of it unblemished again. But Miami just seems to be a team with a little bit of a mission. However, they're gonna meet up another team that's on a mission as well. And some of these games have really lived up to the billing, and I hope that's the same thing this coming up week.
No question. And then on New Year's Day, it started with my favorite play of the day going down in flames as Texas Tech was shut out by Oregon 23-0. Who could have saw that coming? They averaged 42.5 points per ball game throughout the season, and they just couldn't get out of their way. 4 turnovers. Great job by the Oregon defense to win in Miami, and they won a trip to Atlanta for that. Boy, talk about a team that's getting hosed as far as travel goes. It could be Miami, Atlanta, and if they somehow upset Indiana, Miami again.
Right. It's a tough road, but you know what you're going into. This is what it is. And again, that's why I say it's so how difficult it is to do it over and over and over again, because that's a lot of wear and tear on guys, and just the fact that there's bound to be injuries, and so it's going to be a tough road for Oregon, but I think they would have it no other way at this point. They're going to be very fired up to see if they can't avenge their lone loss of the year to Indiana.
By far their worst game, and we'll get into that coming up in just a little bit as well. Speaking of Indiana, up to that point, teams with a bye the first year and a half were 0-6. 0-6. Well, they turned out to be 1-6. Indiana did to Alabama what Alabama did for years to their opponents under Nick Saban. They bludgeoned them.
Right.
They ran 66 offensive plays. I don't know if you're a stats guy, so I'm pretty sure you knew this. Of the 66 offensive plays, they ran the ball 50 times. They basically, late in the game, were like, we're going to run it right over here, and you're not going to stop us. And Alabama had zero answer.
Culture and coaching are a big thing in football and in any sport for that matter. But football, you've seen a culture change at Indiana in less than 2 years. And that's unheard of.
John, they had the worst record in college football history. It's kind of like when Brady went to the Bucs, and the Bucs had the worst pro record of any of the 4 major sports. Cignetti has just done a tremendous job, and we'll get into this in a little bit, but they've hit some home runs in the portal already too for this coming year.
And I with my middle name thing I do here, I believe was one of my thoughts about it today, and it was I believe in IU, but I would say because it's hard. I guess you look at it. There's a lot more failure than success with coaching changes. Let's be honest about that. There's always going to be guys who don't make it, but to make it in this magnitude and on this platform that they're on, and to look like they've been doing it forever. This doesn't look like they're just lucking out. This is not like a bad call here and there, got you past some things. Even the Penn State game where Penn State gave it everything they had, at the end, they went right down the field and scored and won that and took that football game away. They made Alabama look really bad. I know Alabama fans, and they like to run their mouth because they're Alabama. And if they're winning, they have every right to do so. But there wasn't a peep out of Alabama fan about middle of the second quarter on. They looked and they said, there's nothing here. There's nothing we can do. We can't stop this. When Simpson got hurt, it was all over. But that's what happens. Like when you see the beginning of an end of a dynasty in Alabama, it's that kind of loss that sort of sets it into motion or perpetuates it. You saw the quarterback go down hurt. You saw the defense couldn't make a play. The athletes looked slow on the offense. The O-line didn't look good. I was like, who's their running back? There's as many questions with Alabama after that game as you name a game in the middle of the SEC, a Missouri loss or somebody else like that, and say, well, what happened? Alabama did not look good. And Kalen DeBoer, I am not convinced that he is the guy. I've not been convinced.
You haven't been convinced. I'll be truthful. Anybody that's followed us, you've been that way all year long.
And it's because of that kind of a loss. That's how they played against Florida State. Florida State just didn't have the real power that Indiana brings to the game. They
Still
did win games
touchdowns
this year. They were on an 8-game winning streak, and I get that. They did some things, but you just don't have those kind of losses and win national championships, or at some point in time that you're going to be getting ready for the third or fourth game of the season, and it's going to be Tennessee or somebody like that, and they say, "What are we worried about? Play free. Don't worry about this situation. We're better than these guys." And we'll see. I mean, I could be 100% wrong. Every year's a new year, but I just don't look at it as that. And again, where there's smoke, there's fire. You know, they don't like Alabama. The family doesn't like this, and his name is brought up for every open coaching job that's out there. I'm interested to see how that's going to be a very interesting. If you're into nighttime soap operas, that's going to be the nighttime soap opera for the NCAA college football next year.
No question about it. I totally agree with you. It is going to be must-watch television. And then the nightcap turned out to be the best game of the weekend. And, I went, I'm watching the game, and Ole Miss flubs the end of the first half. They don't even get a chance to kick the field goal. It's 21-12, and I'm like, geez, was that their opportunity?
Right.
No, they went into the locker room, and they came out in the second half, and they kicked Georgia up and down the field. To Georgia's credit, they did a lot of really good things. But, John, with little less than 10 minutes to go in your own territory on fourth down, what in the world is Kirby Smart doing? Could he see the handwriting on the wall, and that's why he did it? Or, I mean, that stunned me as much as anything from any of the games on the weekend.
Alabama, Georgia, I want to say the Tua game, if I'm not mistaken, and national championship. Justin Fields was the backup quarterback at the time, and they lined him up as an up back for a fake punt on their side of the 50-yard line, and it was a colossal failure, and probably was the reason Justin Fields went to Ohio State, because he became a usable pawn in a bad play,
right?
And not the respect that the number one overall quarterback coming out gets in a situation like that. Kirby Smart does like to sort of take a risk here and there based on the fact that he thinks that his team is good enough to bail him out of his bad decisions. In some cases, he's a great coach. Don't get me wrong. And I think sometimes you have to do a little something to spark your team. In that particular instance, no. In that particular instance, it didn't require that at that point. It didn't seem necessary at that point.
Plenty of time left.
Risk reward, buddy. That's what everybody talks about. What's the return on the investment of the risk? And if it's nothing if it's a first down that perpetuates it, keeps the drive going, as opposed to something where you're already in the game to begin with, then the return is not enough to make the risk.
Especially on your own 33. I mean, that's crazy.
And in this day and age where everybody has 900 analysts and 85 people on the sidelines, everybody's got their own handler. Why is somebody that whispered in his ear like, "Coach, we don't need to do this"? And I will say this: he has had to gamble a little bit this year. Georgia was not dominant.
No,
they got by at the beginning of the season. They got a little lucky in some cases as well. Some referees calls and some different things that happened. He seemed a little panicked most of the year. He seemed more panicked than I've seen him in the past. So maybe that's what it is. Who knows? But I thought it was a bad idea. But Ole Miss, kudos to them and that coaching staff. And what the hell Lane Kiffin's doing to them right now is ridiculous.
What Lane Kiffin's doing is going to the bank every time they win.
Well, and then on top of that, he's making money, and yet now he's showing his little petulant little self that he wants to be. He doesn't like the fact that they're doing it without him, so he's trying to reel people in to come back and work at LSU. When he was all about nothing more than them. I just want to do what's right for them. No, you don't. It's only and always will be about you. Did you see the photo op that him and Kim Mulkey made together when they came out for the LSU women's basketball game, holding hands together? What is that? Are you the ring bearer and the flower girl at somebody's wedding? What the
Where
hell?
was Brian Kelly? Where was Brian Kelly?
He was
I mean,
probably
he would have made a great triumphant.
Yeah, Brian Kelly was in the upper deck, trying to learn how to speak Cajun, so he can mix in with the other LSU folk. No, I'm rooting hard for Ole Miss.
Toddy.
It's the people there were super nice when I went there earlier this year. They deserve it. They've played the program itself that Kiffin did build. No, don't take that away. But they've been a successful program that this is where the culmination should be happening right now.
And great on Pete Golding, by the way. Great on him.
I like the guy. Them hiring him, gobbling him up, and saying don't go anywhere. They know that's an insider, an AD knowing knowing the program. He must have talked to those kids, and those kids are like, nah, Coach Kiffin's a little out there, but that's the nuts and bolts guy. Yeah. What can he still manage to keep that offense going the way it is? That remains to be seen.
Absolutely. It's going to be a tough matchup on shorter rest than anybody else. So the semifinals are set. Fiesta Bowl, Tempe, Thursday night. Miami, the 10 seed, is a 2.5-point favorite over the 6 seed Ole Miss. And I think Miami's just earning points with that menacing front four and the offensive line. I think on both sides of the ball, they've been extremely physical. What does Ole Miss have to do to combat Miami's physicality? So
I will tell you this. I think that Trinidad, every name I'm forgetting, Chambliss.
Yep.
With names today, forget it. They've got to open it up. They've got to make it a track meet. They've got to get out there. They got to spread him 5 wide, get the ball out of his hands in no time. Make Miami make tackles downfield. Don't make it a line of scrimmage game if you can help it. Tell him, look, throw the ball away. If you don't see it, 1, 2, 3, throw it away. It's 2nd and 10 or whatever it may be. I think that's what they need to do. And because I don't think that Miami can play in a track meet. Mm-hmm. Beck has not shown me once this year that he can go back and forth, at least from my opinion, and put the game on his shoulders. Cristobal wants to slow it down. He wants to, pound. He's made that very clear about his offense. If he's got to chase a bunch of Ole Miss, it could be a blowout. Believe it or not, it could be a blowout for Ole Miss. The Miami win, the points in Miami. I mean, a win for Miami wants to win it by 2. They're not worried about what it looks like. They just want to win the game, and I could appreciate that. But I think Ole Miss has overall more talent than Miami does.
Wow. That's a statement.
Well, look, if you look at their wide receiving core, Rich, and you sit there and watch the numbers that go on the field, 2, 1, 19, 17, 11. These are just numbers that are coming on off the field and are catching footballs, not giving somebody a break. They got a better running back. Now his shoulders messed up a little bit. Fletcher's good, but at the end of the game, Fletcher wasn't even in the game at the end of the game for Miami. They had the other running back in, and I was like, why is he not in? He's the guy who ran over.
I think he got dinged up a little bit,
but still, I mean, so Lacey is a talented guy. Ole Miss has got tight ends. I think they've got talent all over the place. Defensively, I think they got a little undersold as well. I think that they play. I don't think they're great, but I think that they're better than average. And I think I think if you're in a track meet, that'll work. And they know how to be in a track meet.
And well, the thing to me, Carson Beck in the first 2 games has been extremely comfortable. Even in the Texas A&M game, he didn't really face a lot of pressure.
That's right.
I think Ole Miss has got to dial up the pressure on Carson Beck, force him to make quick decisions. We've seen in the past that sometimes he doesn't make the right decisions. I think that, to me, is the key to the game. And they might have to cover the Miami receivers one-on-one and take a chance. But I just think they've got to get pressure on Beck.
I think you're 100% right, because this is where he, to me, and I know Cristobal's got a philosophy, but I think Beck is the weak link. if you're looking for the person in the chain that you can go after and attack, the weak link, he's the weak link. And I think if you can make him have to perform at a high level, now can he? Yes, we know he can do it,
Right.
but it's a matter of will he be able to in that environment, and will he be able to handle that pressure at that point as well? Because again, while he was at Georgia, he didn't get to the point where he had to take the pressure. That was passed on to Stockton when after Beck was injured. So we'll see. So we'll see how that goes. I like Ole Miss in the game only because I think that they can out athlete them when it comes to on the offense.
Wow. That's a statement.
I've liked them all year. They've been getting better and better. I like the fact that they came back and avenged their loss to Georgia. And Georgia's, Georgia's a great football team. And I think Miami, though, I think again, that's the game that's the toss-up game. That's the one you really don't. I don't know if you really want to go with the 2.5 or whatever. I think the other game's a little easier maybe to pick based on what we've seen. But I do like Ole Miss. I like their style, and against Miami's defense, we'll see how it goes.
I'll make pick on that one a little later on. And then Friday night, the Peach Bowl in Atlanta. We mentioned Oregon got to come cross country again, although they come early enough that to me that's not nearly as much of a factor as if say it was a pro team, because they're not going to class this week. They're going to head to Atlanta, and they're going to, if they're not there already, they're going to get there in the next day or so, and they're going to be plenty acclimated, and they're going to be plenty motivated, because you listen to what they said after the game. You listen to some of the interviews before the first game against Indiana. They had just come off the game against Penn State, and I understand Penn State ended up folding, but at the time that was a mega matchup, whiteout conditions, the whole nine. And Oregon, I think, might have taken Indiana a little lightly. They won't this time. The question is, can they match Indiana's physicality? Because
that's 100% right.
To me, Indiana showed me, and they've showed it all year long, this is a physical, grinding football team, and they are, Kirk Cignetti is confident, cocky. You want to call him cocky? Sure, yeah. Call him cocky. He has a reason to be. He's got horses, and Oregon, they're going to be extremely. To me, this game, I can't land on a side right now.
I'm going to give you watching that game on the Tech or Oregon game. Dan Lanning almost coached them into a loss to a team they were physically beating up.
Yes,
his coach, the decisions he made in the first half were atrocious. Okay, come on, dude, put points on the board.
Yes,
okay.
I thought that
was. What are you doing?
Yep.
And the idea that he sort of put himself in that situation where he was going to be a tough guy and try to run it down their throat, that fed right into Texas Tech. Okay. Mm-hmm. Now, they didn't do anything with it. We know that's the score was what it was. But the thing I think in this game is going to make the difference, and if I was an assistant coach on Oregon that had the ear of Dante Moore, I would say, Dante, I don't know what you plan on doing after this season's over. But boy, would you cement yourself as the number 1 overall pick if you went out here and beat Indiana? And sometimes the motivations of this generation of college football player are different. Mm-hmm. Kids nowadays at high school are saying, "What are you going to that school for? Money. I want to make more money. I'm going to do money." And you can be a Raider, you can be closer to home, whatever it may be. I think that's the motivation. Dante Moore. It could be the difference maker in this game. I think he is the difference maker. I think you're going to get what you get from Mendoza. I think you're going to get a very efficient. He is what a lot of people don't like to call, but a game manager that puts the ball where it
certainly was in the Rose Bowl.
Absolutely. And so I think that's the thing. But if Dante Moore can come out and be dynamic, that means a game rich, like where he's going to have to run for 80, 90 yards, and he's going to have to throw for 350, wow. Really put a game out there where Indiana's got to get out from being comfortable. Can they match them? Yes, but I don't know if they can match them like into the fourth quarter of a game like that. That would be interesting to see. However, that being the case, I don't quite believe that's going to happen because I think Indiana is. I mean, every time I look for a weakness with this football team and watch a game with a lot, like say, let's see where they do this. They don't have one at this point. I don't really see in the secondary. They got dudes. The linebackers can they bring it? Mm-hmm. They're in the backfield. And then all this is being orchestrated by a very, very good coaching staff that knows how to set up plays and do things the right way. And my goodness, it's when you had Mendoza hit 3 different touchdown passes, 3 different routes to 3 different guys, and you see it, you're like, okay, I got you. You can do anything you want. You've got it all kind of figured out. And Mendoza is a guy that he knows when to throw it away. He knows the read. He knows the second read. He knows everything. And again, that comes from experience, which I like. I'm a proponent of the fact that they getting games underneath your belt is a big deal. It is a big deal, and I think that you're seeing that with Moore starting. This is his 3rd year starting. He started for UCLA for 1 year and then 2 years at Oregon. Mm-hmm. You've got Beck, he's a 4-year guy. Mendoza, a 4-year guy, and Chambliss. But his reps were at the D2 level.
Correct. Ferris State. Go Bulldogs.
But nonetheless, when you play for a championship, there's pressure in that situation. Just because you're not in front of 80,000 people, it's still pressure nonetheless. And he's been down that road.
So 2 really good semifinals. Indiana's a 4-point favorite over Oregon. That number seems right about right. And I'll tell you, we should be in for 2 really good semifinals, and then we have to wait 10 days for the championship. They've got to fix this, John. It's got to be played within certainly not. It's 7 days. How about a Thursday? You don't have to deal with any of the NFL. You don't have to wait until after another weekend of playoff games. I mean, the NFL will have played, after these teams meet, will play 2 weeks of playoffs before they play the national championship. I'm sorry, it kind of dissipates. And, the games on Sunday and divisional round weekend, you finish with them and then you're like, oh, we got the national championship tonight. It's just, they've got to fix it somehow, some way.
No, and I've said it forever. I even said about the Super Bowl, but now I think they're kind of fixing it in a different way by going up to President's Day is where they're going to head to. So everybody has a day off on Monday, so they keep their Sunday bid. College football is a Saturday thing, okay, whatever that may be. But even if it can't be Saturday, well, what's wrong with a Friday night? You know what I'm saying? What's wrong with a Friday
worst night in television, though, John?
Yeah, Friday but understandably, this is a different scenario. You know what I mean? I just think there's a better way to do this.
Yes.
Again, if you're gonna move things back, I don't know what NFC AFC championship games are on a Sunday. Maybe that game's the Saturday before.
Well, I'm not saying move it back. I'm saying move it ahead. Have it Thursday the 15th.
Right.
Why not?
Right.
That would leave the Peach Bowl team only 5 days to prepare. So you just got to tweak the whole thing altogether.
Well, and now watching more than my fair share of college football pregame shows. That was a major concern about who's going to fix college football. It's all messed up. Blah,
Nick
blah,
Saban.
blah, blah, blah.
Nick Saban.
Right. That's what Pat McAfee wants. Yes. But no, who's going to fix college football? College football is going to fix college football. And we all know it's going to be a part. It's going to be the conferences that do it, and the NCAA will say, "Okay, did you fix it? Okay, now tell us what we want this to enforce, and what's our role in this?" Because they've given up their authority has been given up. As soon as they said that they were not going to, they're not going to manage this or do whatever. They've said we can't do it. We don't want litigation. We don't want to have problems. You guys figure it out, and then you let us know what we need to do to keep it moving forward. The portal,
that's another thing they got to fix, man.
As hell, it's dumb. You know what I mean? All those little different things that have to be They're not little, but things that need to be worked out. I think the money, Rich, is kind of working itself out. I think the money itself is working itself out. I just think the timing of all this and what's fair and not fair to the student athlete, and what's fair and not fair to the universities as well. It's got to be. It can't be one-sided. And it was one-sided for 100 years, and now it's sort of going the opposite direction. And we just got to get that straightened out. There's smarter people than us that should have a hand in this, but who's to say? It took them forever to figure out the bowl games.
Keyword should.
Yeah.
Should.
Well, again, money always talks. You know what I'm saying? So what's going to be the situation? They got the money bags already delivered with the new contracts when they got the ESPN, got the SEC, and CBS took the Big Ten, and whatever else happened.
Mm-hmm.
The only team that's got a lot of money but not a lot not to look forward to is Notre Dame.
Right.
You know what I mean? They took their own bag and they got left out in the cold, which should be what you would think they would kind of get the hint, but they didn't. They went out and then doubled down on isolating themselves by canceling the USC game and being mad at the ACC. So what do you do there?
A couple other things. You mentioned the portal. The portal opened on the 2nd. There are guys signing left and right. Indiana signed 4 guys yesterday, including a quarterback. I think, and here's the problem with the portal. Okay. And I don't know how they're going to, again, it's tough to put the toothpaste back in the tube. I heard there's a guy in the portal that has played for a different team for 4 straight years and is looking for his 5th. That's not what the portal was made for.
No.
I just, to me, that's ridiculous. And again, until they get a handle on it, the kids are going to do whatever the heck they want.
Absolutely. And and that's unfortunate that's going to keep happening that way. I will tell you, like I said, the portal itself, there needs to be some sort of rule. I keep on saying that the days of signing a letter of intent and faxing it over on recruiting day, they don't exist anymore. Now it's got to be, now I think it's a 3-year contract that you sign with whatever monies that you're going to get or whatever your deal is. It's contracted. It's right there. Look, it's not as you're recruiting 18 to 24 kids every year. Let's say that's the number. So it's that many contracts. You just change the language here and there, put the dollar figure in. It's just like filling out a questionnaire at some point in time. But they got to be there for their 3-year commitment. After 3 years, they have the right to say, I want to leave. Okay. If the coach leaves, different story. Then you've got to leave it open for that situation.
Sure.
But in this case, if you give them 3 years, it's a chance to grow. Look at DJ Lagway. Okay. Top quarterback. You're going to may have to is right. DJ Lagway comes out of Texas. He's all this, that, looks great early on in his freshman year, gets injury bug, and he looks terrible this year. Is it helping? Is the portal helping him right now to get better as a quarterback? Absolutely not. Him going in the portal is a move that he's loyal to the coach, but and probably would have to start over anyway. But as a quarterback, you want to get your 3 years in before you make a decision about pro or next place or staying where you're at. That would be the idea behind it. So 3 years in, get those 3 years under your belt. See how you're doing. If you're not fitting in or whatever, you're on it's an open door to get out. If you want to go in the portal again, you got to sit.
Yeah, I like that, and that's Nick Saban's idea. Absolutely, gotta. You can't just keep transferring and being eligible right away. That to me is another problem. By the way, you mentioned Lagway. Read a couple of articles right before we went on. Apparently, he's on cloud 9 from his visit from Florida State. I hope it starts raining. That's a Florida State fan. I mean,
so here, let me tell you this: he found his Billy Napier 2 in Mike Norvell. I'm sure that they have the same demeanor, the same productivity, the same kind of everything.
You're killing me.
How in the hell is Gus Malzahn going to run his offense with DJ Lagway when he's lumbering and he doesn't? He's got guys that are mobile, quick this, quick that. It's not a fit. It's a nice front page distraction. Hey, Seminoles get 4-star guy, steal him right away from the guys in Gainesville. I promise you, there's nobody in Gainesville right now.
All right, I was going to say, it's not stealing. He left, right. and they showed him the way. They drove him to the airport.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. So, and again, we also know as a Florida fan that he demanded that there was no competition. Even Summerall, when he went and did talk to him, he said he brought up the word competition, and Lagway was like, that's when he hit the door. He was out. I'm out of here. I'm not competing. I'm here to make my money and do my 3 or 4 years. Now might be 4, and I'm out the door. And it's the guy like. It's a hard comparison because I'm not the same guy, but it's Anthony Richardson right now. We've had 2 versions of it. Yep. Anthony Richardson looked like gangbusters. He could run, do everything else, and then hurt. Oh, I'm going to go pro. Okay, really? And look what that's got him: concussion,
hurt,
and nothing.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Let's give congratulations to Wisconsin Whitewater, who are the Mount Union of the 2020s. They win again in the Division III National Championship. Illinois State and Montana State in the FCS Championship game. That's later on Monday night in Frisco. But we're, again, recording Monday afternoon. Illinois State had to play a first-round game because the bracket's a little different in FCS. Not everybody plays first round. I think there's 20 teams, if I'm not mistaken. Illinois State has won 4 consecutive road games to get to the championship.
That's really
good. That's incredible.
Right. It's unbelievable.
Will they have anything left for Montana State, who's an extremely good football team?
And they are. And they've sort of become the North Dakota State of the FCS right now. So we'll see if they can continue their run.
All right. So there you have it. College football portal's open. We'll have some more information on that coming up on our show next week. Maybe some of the players that actually and where they went. So we'll have we'll get that going for you. The 941 Sports Zone presented as always by Mighty Dog Roofing of Southwest Florida. You might have heard him in the last segment. Locally owned and nationally backed, delivering exceptional roofing for homes and businesses up and down the Gulf Coast. 941-251-4257 is the number. 941-251-4257. NFL Week 18.
I'll agree with that. That's a good
answer. It was very the Bucs did win Saturday against Carolina 16-14. Not exactly an inspiring performance. The Bucs went right down the field and scored on their opening possession like they seemed to do. They did the same thing against Miami and then could do very little after that. It was kind of interesting. Now, the weather was a little bit of a factor, particularly in the first half. They played in a driving rainstorm. But Carolina did next to nothing until late in the game, and then they made it a game late in the game. But the Bucs were able to, get the connection with Baker Mayfield and Cade Otton. Otton had a tremendous game. So the Bucs put themselves in position. However, they needed Atlanta to lose at home to New Orleans, and New Orleans, well, they played like New Orleans has most of the year.
What would you expect?
A block punt, interception late as they're driving inside the 20. Just, the Bucs got what they deserve. Let's be realistic. You start 6-2 and you end 8-9. You don't deserve to go to the playoffs. Not that Carolina deserves to go to the playoffs, but quite frankly, as a Bucs fan, I was resolved to the fate beforehand. As I took Carolina on the money line. I thought Carolina would win the game, and that scares me for Carolina. Even though they beat the Rams just a few weeks ago, you really think they're going to do it again? Certainly, Vegas doesn't think so. John, the spread's 10.5 at Carolina,
and rightfully so. Because again, like I said, the Panthers are not a great football team. I think
they're a good football team. You're right. They're not.
They're just coming up the ladder a little bit. They've made some improvements, but they're not ready. Where was Rico Dowdell after he had 1,000 yards in 3 games?
10 yards in the game.
Right.
Bucs
Ridiculous.
stopped him completely.
And so you see that kind of thing. And I was going to make it. You're talking about the Bucs and the little stuff you said about the drive down the field. Good teams, always sort of they have a good game plan. Come out, you have a script, you go. The great teams, the teams that are playoff teams that can make a difference, they do it. They readjust again before half, and they readjust after halftime, and they win. Mahomes, Brady. We'll go through all those different guys, okay, that have had this.
Stafford,
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's not a here's my one bullet. Here we go. Bam. That's all I got. Now what are we gonna do? I don't know. Let's just start throwing plays out there. It looks weird. It looks like Baker is in the huddle. He breaks the huddle. He looks unsure of himself. And next thing you know, the Buccaneers score when he throws a ball over his head or underneath his leg or something like that. And it does never seem to be where there's some sort of control over it. Mm-hmm. And then again, to watch the Bucs play with the Todd Bowles defense, where it's just like, bend, don't break. Don't do it. You feel like there's an inevitability for any team to come back and make it a game. And then all of a sudden we got to figure, what are we going to whip up at the end to kind of fit to win this thing? Remember, we were praising the talent on offense for the Buccaneers.
Yes.
10 weeks ago. Oh, this is look at the receiving core.
Weaponry. Yeah.
Offensive.
When they all come back, this is going to be a great team.
3 tight ends, you name it. We're great. And nothing. As far as productivity is concerned, not as much as you would expect it to be explosive. Another thing I'll say too, go back to Bowles' defense. Their defensive line did nothing this year. Yeah. Nothing. Absolutely.
Hassan Reddick, a complete zero.
He was a zero with the Jets. He was the Philly got rid of him for a reason, and he wanted a bunch of money, and he performed like a zero. He didn't do anything. Yaya Diaby, I hear that name all the time. He's okay. He's not a great player. He's a starter, but he's not like a guy you're going to write home about.
Right.
Even Vita Vea, I mean, he takes up space, but is he dynamic? I didn't see it. I didn't see it. And I thought, well, the D line's going to be good this year. No, they were not good. Hell, they had to go go and try to get what's his face out of retirement to go play for them.
Oh, Jason Pierre-Paul.
Yeah. What's that?
Yeah.
That's the scrap heap you're pulling from?
Yep.
That's that. What are the guys doing that are on the taxi squad or whatever they call it these days? It's just ridiculous that you don't have that. You saw weakness. You saw unpreparedness. You saw it looked like an uninspired football team from an uninspired coach. If I talk like this on a podcast, Rich, I'm not sure people would want to hear me talk about anything because I'm just mumbling about stuff randomly and I don't really have nothing to say. I mean, what am I supposed to do? That's what Todd Bowles sounds like. Can you imagine being a player? And he said, come in my office. I got to talk to you about getting you motivated. What's getting you motivated? You know what I'm saying? He's got this like, what? And he has like, he gets like this little bit of like this snarky edge to him when the press is asking him legitimate questions. What's the problem, buddy? Answer the questions.
Right.
Show something. Pound your fist on the table every once in a while. Don't sit there and look like you got nothing. Move your upper lip when you talk. Do something that's going to motivate people. It's not motivational whatsoever. And unfortunately, he's going to be there next year because they got
that way.
And I'm going to be interested. That's going to be one of the things I'm interested to see because I'm going to see if they're actually going to be a team that's going to be worth watching, or are they going to fall apart? You got 2 guys that may not be back in Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. I mean, they may be done, and then you're talking about taking that part away. I'm sure free agency is going to hit them. Levante David's gone. So, yeah, interesting to see how things are going to work out for them.
Atlanta did win that game, as we talked about, over New Orleans, 19-17. They finished with 4 straight wins and 8-9 on the season. But Arthur Blank said, not good enough. And he didn't wait. I mean, they were doing bro hugs after the press conference, at the end of the New Orleans game. And 2 hours later, Raheem Morris and Terry Fontenot, the GM, are cleaning out their desks. And I like that decisiveness.
Yes.
Fontenot has had 5 years, and unfortunately for them, for him, they did not have a winning record in any of the 5 years. Raheem Morris has had 2 years. He ended up 16-18, along with a little interim stint right before. And also, Rich McKay was shown the door as CEO. They are literally starting from scratch.
Well, I think that you had to, because here's what it is. Raheem Morris is an extension of Arthur Smith. So, because he was on the staff. Everybody likes Raheem Morris. They call him Ra. They don't call him coach. Just like I said, my problems with calling somebody Todd and not the coach. Okay. There's something wrong with that. And I think what happened was Arthur Smith went away. I think probably there were some guys on the team that thought Raheem was a great guy, and maybe they sort of lobbied for him through the GM, and then the GM signed off on it, and Rich McKay signed off on it. Rich McKay's tenure at Atlanta in the last couple of years has been terrible. You know what I'm saying? He hasn't. Atlanta seems rudderless to me. They don't seem like there's a plan. It's just sort of like it's just kind of going back and forth. One game they're good, one game they're bad, this and that. And you got some big things coming soon, because our Bijan Robinson is about to be handed the money bank. You know what I mean? The money bag. He's gonna demand some money, and you got to get rid of Kirk Cousins. Is Michael Penix your guy? A lot of decisions got to be made in the next couple of years, and I don't think I would trust any of those three guys to be leading me to that point.
And obviously Arthur Blank feels the same way. Sounds like Matt Ryan's going to have a major role, maybe, the former Falcon. And again, you can trace everything back for Atlanta to Super Bowl 51, up 28-3 in the third quarter against New England. They've never fully recovered from that at all as a franchise. And I think this is the best way to do it, is to completely flush it. So we'll see what the Falcons are, because most people, talent evaluators, say by far they have the most talent in the division.
Right. And you're in an absolutely crappy division.
Correct.
The two teams at the top are like, okay, the Bucs are probably on their way down. Carolina kind of on its way up. You can have a 1-year turnaround and be the winner of that division. It's not even
absolutely.
It's simple as can be. And other places that's not the case. Look at the Raiders, right? They fired Pete Carroll after 1 year. I don't know why they even hired Pete Carroll. That was the stupidest thing ever. But that's what's a Mark Davis thing. Whatever, they're going to hire stupid people, or not stupid people, but a stupid choice, I would call it. But look at the mountain they got to climb. Past those three.
Check has his work cut out for him. The GM actually stays. I think Geno Smith played his last snap in Vegas. Yes. He was dreadful this year. Age definitely caught up. We're going to hit all the coaching openings, but that's a big one. Let's get through the rest of week 18. Seattle won the battle for the number 1 seed in the NFC in San Francisco, dominating on defense, beating the Niners 13-3. Wasn't much of a Van Gogh to watch unless you like defense, and Seattle brought the defense. They made some critical plays. Christian McCaffrey open in the flat, fumbles. It's not really a fumble. It turned out to be an interception. Right. Ball's in his hand, a little behind him. Turns out it goes in the Seattle guy's hand. And Seattle is the 1 seed. And in a year that's wide open, both in the NFC and AFC, they're the clear betting favorite. They're 3.5 to 1. Right. The next choice is 6 to 1. John, I don't see that. I don't see that.
No, I don't either. Sam Darnold, and that game to me felt like this. Like Sam Darnold showed up in Seattle, pretty good team. Everybody, as far as you're looking at it from an observer of the game, like, okay, that's a nice move for Seattle. That'll make them a little better, maybe. We'll see. And you look at San Francisco and you're like, man, Brock Purdy's good and McCaffrey's good. So like
injuries.
I picture myself being like where you're in a car, going to be in a drag race, let's just say, and you think you got your nice. You're like, oh, look at that 49er drag racer. It's really nice, and the driver is he's so steady. He's good to go. Everything's great about him. And all of a sudden Seattle pulled up and said Sam Darnold's driving some sort of like nuclear powered jet race car. I know it's a weird analogy, but they are doing what San Francisco does, but like better.
Yeah. The
defense is better. The offense is better. Darnold looks better than Purdy for sure. McCaffrey looks old to me. I think it's just he's not a big guy, and I think he doesn't look like he has that spark here at the end of the year. So it was a totally boring game. But Seattle just like they knew they had him beat, and they just said, "Come on, let's go, we'll finish it off, and we'll take care of you." And they seem super confident, and I can see why they're the bookie favorite based on what they are, but they're not the favorite in my mind in the NFC. No, not even close.
And let's give credit where credit's due. You can say all you want about Sam Darnold, the way he finished last year and everything. Back-to-back 14-win seasons. You can't take that away from him. And, no. He's got more weapons in Seattle. And that's hard to say. When Minnesota, he had Jefferson and that gang. He was throwing to Hawkinson, the tight end. But he's got weaponry. I love Jackson Smith and Jigma. I really do. I think he's a hell of a wide receiver. But they got good receivers 2, 3, and 4 deep. They can run the ball with both Walker Jr. and
Charbonnet.
26. Thank you very much. Charbonnet, who's had a tremendous year, 12 touchdowns. Why not them? I guess is the way to look at it, because you look at everything else. Chicago, Ben Johnson went off after the game yesterday. They lose Sunday. They lose to Detroit 19-16. The offense for 3 quarters was dreadful. They did get a couple of touchdowns, hit a couple of twos. They're a dangerous team if they get within 7 or 8. We're going for a 2-point conversion. But fact of the matter is, they held on to the 2 seed because Philadelphia decided to rest everybody. And they end up losing to Josh Johnson on his
Commanders
team and the Washington Commanders. But you look at everybody else. I mean, the Rams, they did win, but they were losing in the third quarter, and they've really been struggling of late. They lost 2 in a row and were down in the third quarter. That's everybody's sexy pick to go to the Super Bowl. They've got to start playing better. Let's be honest. They're going to have to do it from the road.
No doubt about it. Sam Darnold's an interesting guy. He's a veteran, but he's young.
Yes.
Okay. Because he was so young coming out in the draft when he came out. And so this could be his coronation if this happens, where he could be the guy that's going to maybe be the guy for 5 years or 6 years. Obviously, that's going to be an investment that Seattle has to decide on. They know they've got him for so many years, but is he going to be the guy moving forward and keeping them on the right track? I do like the Rams for a couple of reasons, but I do like the Rams because Matthew Stafford to me presents a very interesting dilemma for other teams. He's a guy with so much arm talent and now so much savvy in regards to the way he plays the game, that he is really, I think he rises the Rams up. Not to mention they have a hell of a defense when they're playing right. They have a good defense. So I do like the Rams as far as that's concerned. I look at Seattle, Philly for sure. I think that they're part of that. Green Bay. I think those teams could all come out of the NFC and be a formidable opponent to whoever comes out, because the AFC's got me a little befuddled. You know what I mean? Do we ride? Nobody wants to talk about. Do we want to ride Houston's hot hand right now with a CJ Stroud at quarterback? I think San Diego is not. I think they're going to be a flop. I think it's not going to be a good deal for them. Is Buffalo good? I don't know. It's kind of hard to say with them at this point. Pittsburgh. Oof, they've been through a lot. They're not reliable enough. And if we look at the top seed in Denver, are they that good? And will the Mile High Stadium mean that much to them, and as far as moving forward is concerned? So yeah, I think if that's the best choice, I like the other 4 teams to win against the Denver team in the Super Bowl, if that's the case.
Interesting. Very interesting. And you didn't even mention probably the hottest team going in the AFC right now, Jacksonville, who's won their last 8. I know Houston won their last 9, but Jacksonville's been bludgeoning people. And listen, I see the face, but they went to San Francisco and won. They went to Denver and won. And they won both games. I know the San Francisco game was only 5 points, but they handily beat them. They're building their resume, but Buffalo stands in the way, and the Bills are actually favored
Yeah.
in the first round game as the sixth.
So that's my thought in this situation is that I think Trevor Lawrence has gotten better with the right coach. Okay. But I don't know if this is, Liam Cohen, he's done a really nice job this year. I don't know if they're ready to win at this level at this point. I think this is a step for them. I think they're going to be one of those want to watch teams next year to see if they actually can perform the way they've been performing to this point. I don't think, because especially in their division, I don't think Tennessee or Indianapolis is going to be an issue for them next year. I just don't see it. Houston's the one team that I just don't know what to think with Houston. They
from a slow start. They've won 9 in a row, but the last couple of weeks they've struggled a little bit.
I agree. I can't get a grasp on them, but I just think that when it all shakes out in the AFC, it's going to be Denver versus somebody. I just don't know who at this point.
Okay.
Who I trust. And I don't think either one, any of them. And I'll go back real quick. Philly, they've been there, done that. They kind of got that. I wouldn't call it cockiness, but they feel like they know what they're doing. I think Green Bay, I think not enough credit is given to Green Bay's head coach. That's why
Matt LaFleur.
LaFleur, yeah. I think he is very, very good coach. You watch them, he coaches them through some stuff. And I think they've got a lot of receivers. They got defense. I think they're going to be fine. I like Green Bay as well. The Rams, like I mentioned before, being as good as they are. And my last team being Seattle, which again, they're the favorites overall. So I think they're 4 teams that could beat anybody coming out of the AFC.
All right, here are the matchups in Wild Card Weekend in the NFC. And we'll go in chronological order. The 4:30 Fox game on Saturday. The Rams, mentioned it earlier, 10.5-point favorites against Carolina. Carolina beat the Rams just a couple of weeks ago, but they were able to turn Matthew Stafford over 3 times in that game. And Stafford is he was the clear favorite for MVP. He still may win it, but he certainly has stumbled a little bit down the stretch. So we'll see how that one goes. The 8:00 prime game, your Packers are actually favored on the road in a 7-2 game. They're a 1.5 favorite over the Bears. I've already put my money down on that one. That to me, I'm sorry, but I hear what you say about the Packers, but I think the loss of Micah Parsons is they haven't got a sack since he got hurt. That's a problem.
I think that I think the Bears and the Packers are very evenly matched. My thing is, I just don't know how good Chicago's defense is.
Yeah.
And I don't
say that. Yep.
And Caleb Williams is he's a good quarterback. He's learning his trade quickly. He's bought into the coaching of Ben Johnson, which is great. I mean, when you have that sort of that buy-in from him, and you see how it's great, but there's just too many fourth quarter sort of miracle comebacky kind of wins on there.
That's what a lot of people are saying, John. You're right.
I just don't think that they have that, and I think if it comes down to having to stop somebody late in the game, which I think that could be the case, or having to go down the field and score late in the game, I don't know if they have it just yet. A great story, and I think they're going to be good. I think they're really going to be good. That division next year, forget about it.
Well, everybody finished above 500 in that division. Everybody.
Minnesota, I mean, they had a terrible, but all of them, coaching wise, which coach don't you like at this point? Yeah. Dan Campbell, everybody loves Dan Campbell. Okay. Kevin O'Connell, they talk about him like he's the best quarterback
whisperer
of all time. He fixed Sam Darnold. He's got whatever going on. I think the problem with Minnesota is upper management wants JJ McCarthy in there, and he's maybe not ready to be doing that. So it's costing them at this point. If they were to fire O'Connell for like a bad season next year because JJ didn't do well, boy, somebody better scoop him up fast.
Well, he would be unemployed for 35 seconds.
Yeah,
I'm serious. He would be what Kevin Stefanski is right now. We'll talk about that in a little bit when we get to the coaches and everything that happened.
Ben Johnson, and then you've got in Minnesota, O'Connell, and LaFleur at Green Bay. All those guys are very well thought of. By the way, all offensive guys. Now I know Dan Campbell, he's a tight end, and so he's an offensive guy, and he calls the plays for Detroit. And all of them have their quarterbacks in place for the most part. What a hell of a division that's going to be next year. See how that all plays out
for several years. And the final game in the NFC is Sunday at 4:30 on Fox. 6-seeded San Francisco. Can they field a team? Because they have injuries all over the place. Against the 3-seed Philadelphia. You mentioned it. They're the defending champs. They've got the pedigree. That's going to be quite a game as well. Philadelphia is a 3.5-point favorite.
Rich,
in that one.
In football these days, and not, it seems like there has been for not seems like it's true. The last 10, 12 years, running back has been undersold as far as guys that are stars. Okay. But this is a time of the year where running backs make a difference. And Saquon Barkley had I would say a quiet year this year. I think that if Philly is going to go back and do it, they need to make sure they get Saquon in that game early. Forget about A.J. Brown and him whining about getting catches.
Have him read on the sidelines.
At this point, really, I mean, it's to play out the string with him. He's gonna perform. He wants to win, I'm sure. But you got to get Saquon off, and that doesn't mean he has to run the ball. You need to get him in the passing game. You need to get him running and going and get him. Because if that happens, boy, everybody's going to be shaking in their boots. Even in college, look at Alabama. I go back to that. No running back. There's no running back. Georgia, they have like 5 running backs, but none of them are spectacular.
Right.
These are teams that have lost. Okay. Lacey, there's your running back. Fletcher, there's your running back, right? The 2 kids at Indiana dominated the second half. Yep. There you go. Oregon, maybe not so much. But running backs are more important now than people give them credit for. And I think their value as far as what people think about running backs is starting to go up. I think there's a premium on a great running back. Go back to the portal conversation. Florida and Jaden Baugh. That's why he's important if you can get him back, because you've got your bona fide guy right there. And that there's something to that. Doesn't mean he has to have 100 yards a game. It means that he's the guy people got to look out for and opens up your passing game. So we'll see if that's how it works out in the long run.
We mentioned Denver secured the 1 seed. They beat what was left of the Chargers 19-3. Trey Lance, he's stealing money. He's stealing money.
Is. Yeah, he sure is.
At quarterback. So the Chargers finish as the 7. They'll take on New England. The 2-seeded Patriots, talk all about their schedule all you want. They're only 1-2 in games where they played teams with a winning record. But they do what they need to do. They put that Miami game away early, 38-10. Was that enough for Drake May to be MVP? We'll have to wait and see on that. We talked about Jacksonville, the 3 seed. They destroyed Tennessee 41-7. Again, doing what they have to do. Suddenly their defense is playing well, and that bodes well for them. But again, what a 3-6. That to me is the most intriguing first round matchup, Jacksonville and Buffalo. And that's the 1:00 CBS game on Sunday. So we get a little Nance and Romo on that one. Houston, they win the 5 seed. They win 38-30. Late touchdown. Second time this year they've scored as the clock has struck 0. I don't think this one they covered the spread. The first one they did. And then, of course, we talk about the Pittsburgh-Baltimore game. What a fourth quarter that was, back and forth. Listen, I know you're a Jets fan, but you could have used a little of what Aaron Rodgers was slinging last night. He looked 31 last night. He was really good. And considering that his weaponry, no DK Metcalf, he's throwing the very bunch of average, ordinary guys.
I was ecstatic when they got Aaron Rodgers, but the voodoo, such as the Jets do, is when he gets when he blows his Achilles out. I think this year he's finally good.
Right.
I will say this again, very Jetsian of them. When Aaron Glenn got hired and basically told Aaron Rodgers, "There's the door."
Yeah.
Okay. I think when you play with greatness like that, and you act like you already got it figured out. Don't need you. Thanks for coming, because we're going to go ahead and have the duo of Tyrod Taylor and Justin Fields in your place. You wonder why they're 3 and whatever, because just that one personnel move, and I did like the fact they brought Justin Fields in to see what he could do. But then to stick around and listen, nobody on that team, they all quit on him. I think that Sauce quit on him. I think that
Quinnen
Williams quit on him, because when they did what they did, because you saw they all liked Aaron Rodgers. Mm-hmm. Those are the two guys that talked the most about Aaron Rodgers. And Glenn basically said, look, this is my team. He's gone. It's my way or the highway, blah, blah, blah. And it turned out to be a colossal failure because of just that move, those stupid decisions a year ago, which they were stupid decisions. Now, do you still have a faith in the guy? Do you think your GM is going to use those draft picks wisely? By the way, don't worry about moving up or down. You're going to get the guy you want if you in being the number 2 overall pick. You're going to get Mendoza. If that's the guy you want, that's who you're going to get.
I know you don't want him. We've talked about this.
Well, I got talked off the ledge by a few people that I respect in their opinion on certain things. The only thing I don't know for sure, Rich, if he's got an NFL arm, right? And that'll come out as time moves forward. That'll be exposed. But I think that he does have the savvy, so to speak, to be that guy. I don't think he's going to put himself in harm's way either. I don't think he's going to be Jackson Dart trying to get an extra yard on the sideline.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to do that kind of thing. One thing I want to go back to there, Rich, I knew I was forgetting something. The team I think is going to play Denver in the AFC Championship is New England. I'm getting all wrapped up in everybody else. New England, I'm not. Sorry, everybody up there in your end of the woods. I'm not a New England fan. I'm not a Buffalo fan. Why would I be? I'm a Jets fan, right?
Right.
But how impressive the coaching, the quarterbacking, every little nuance. The defense is played phenomenally, and I just think that they're just not. It's just not their time yet. I don't think. But listen, nothing would surprise me with the way they've played to go out there and put together a miracle run to get to the Super Bowl. I wouldn't be surprised at all. But I do think that's who I would expect. But I wouldn't be surprised if somebody else was happened to have a great game and next thing you know, it's not New England. They're just their rise was meteoric. I don't know how sustainable it is.
Right. I totally would agree with that. We mentioned the Baltimore game again. Their rookie kicker Tyler Loop, 29 for 25, 9 under 50 yards, misses the 44-yarder at the end of the game. Almost inconsolable, but he sat at his locker and took the questions. Good on him last night. And good on John Harbaugh, too. I saw some video of him coming down the tunnel by himself, and Harbaugh just put his arm around him and tried to comfort him. I think Harbaugh deserves a little criticism. You have 14 seconds and 1 timeout left. Why don't you try to get closer? I mean, seriously, this is a rookie kicker. I mean, you could throw the ball right over the middle, 10, 12 yards. Now it's an extra point. And I know the guy on the other side missed an extra point, and he's an all-time kicker, and nothing says that he would have hit it. He missed that one really badly, but there's a lot less pressure if you're kicking, say, a 32, 33-yard field goal as opposed to a 44-yard field goal. Everything in the fourth quarter was spectacular. Lamar played great in the fourth quarter, but I just didn't like the way that they basically just centered the ball in the middle of the field and said, here you go, kid.
Yeah, and I think that's a safe play because you don't want to take a chance or risk of getting a sack, which I don't think you would with Lamar. Or maybe these days it seems like intentional grounding is one of the more popular penalties to be called these days. But I guess it would be safe, and the kid hadn't missed, so you kind of you look into that and say, oh,
all averages.
This is a shoe in, and then it doesn't happen. So it's definitely tough. I do appreciate something too going to those 2 field goal kickers. Me with my not wide right moniker for today. I don't think enough is given to the pressure that's put on a guy who is basically the outsider of the football team, the guy who goes to another field to practice, and and these guys have just killed themselves all game for you to hit a winning field goal, and then you don't do it. I can understand this. There's a lot of vitriol pointed towards the kicker, but there's got to be some compassion there because it is a lot of pressure. There is a lot to be said about that. A great player can go to the free throw line and shoot 99%, and then when it's on the line, hit the front end of the rim.
Clank.
And that's just clank. It's not easy.
I bring as the Exhibit A Nick Anderson in the '95 Finals, Magic against the Rockets.
Oh, Rockets! All right, the Rockets. That's right. Yeah, no doubt about it. And so I think it's no different than who can hit a 6-foot putt to win the Masters.
Right. Bless you, sir. Bless you. Okay.
Got it.
I
had to put my glasses on because I lost New England, so I'm not going to miss anything more this time. I got to make sure I see.
All right, let's look at the matchups, and then we'll go over the carnage that is the coaching. Buffalo, as I mentioned, 1.5 favorite at Jacksonville in the 6-3 matchup, 1 o'clock on CBS Sunday. New England's only a 3.5-point favorite over the Chargers. That's the NBC game Sunday night at 8. And then Houston, 3.5-point favorite on the road at Pittsburgh Monday night, 8 p.m. on ESPN. Do all 3 favorites get through, or do you see upset?
I don't know what Houston is. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would think that this should be their defense is dominant with a stationary 42-year-old quarterback. I would see that way. That should be the way, but I don't know about Houston. I think New England, and I think that Jacksonville come out of that
So
game.
you
No,
think
Buffalo.
Jacksonville
No,
upset?
Buffalo is a favorite. So Buffalo. I mean, Buffalo. I'm going to say Buffalo.
And if
Buffalo,
that happens,
and
then that makes a Buffalo-Denver, because they reseed, that would make a Buffalo-Denver divisional round game. I don't think Denver wants to see Buffalo. I really don't.
No, I don't think anybody wants to see Josh Allen. Okay, yeah. I think that's. And you say Buffalo. I say Josh Allen. They don't want to see Josh Allen.
Yeah.
And that's for sure. But Rich, I don't know what it is. Sean Payton is a really good coach.
He is.
And I'll tell you this: if McDermott loses the game on Saturday, I think he's fired. Wow. I think he's done. I just think that they're stuck in that situation. The only reason you wouldn't fire maybe is because you're opening a new stadium. Maybe you want to have continuity with your coaching staff. I don't know, because at this
point, might be a perfect time to fire him, though.
Yeah, so I think that's why I think something will come from that. We'll have to see.
All right, we mentioned Kevin Stefanski fired his Cleveland coach. It's about a little before 6 o'clock on Monday night. He was fired about 8 hours ago. He's already got 3 interviews lined up.
Oh, yeah.
Las Vegas, Arizona, and I forget what the third one is, but he is literally going to start interviewing. I have a funny feeling he's not going to be unemployed long.
2-time coach of the year.
Mm-hmm.
When he had Baker Mayfield with him.
Right.
Guy knows how to call offenses. They know it. I hear it from everybody. Every analyst is like, no, this guy knows. This guy is good. This guy is good.
I think it was dealt a bad hand with the quarterback situation with
Watson.
Deshaun Watson and
that's exactly
and Shedeur Sanders. I mean, geez.
You get told you're going to get a guy on a guaranteed contract who's a bad dude come in here, and he didn't even want to play. You could see he didn't give a crap. There's the motivation behind giving somebody a big contract.
They're all guaranteed contract.
And a bad character. He's a bad character on top of it. What are you supposed to do with that situation? And then you're going to hire. I'm not Shedeur and Dylan Gabriel. I heard some comparison this afternoon. Dylan Gabriel's 6 feet tall with a weak arm. Really, we didn't know that? Of course we knew that. That's why. Why would you take him? He was he wasn't a guy you wanted to go draft in that situation. And Shedeur is doing exactly what we expected of him. Yeah. Okay. This marketing of Shedeur by his dad and whoever else is out there to market him is great. But this is who he is.
Right.
He's an interception machine. He's going to make some great throws. I get all that. He's not the guy. He's just
Right.
not the guy. He reminds me of Jameis.
Oh boy.
Because Jameis is the originator of the 30 for 30, right?
Yes.
30 TDs, 30.
30 bit, yep.
He says, what do you mean I had a bad year? That's Shador. What do you mean I had a bad game? I threw for 400 yards. Well, you lost the game. You threw 3.5 subs, but you don't see me at I had 400 yards. Why are you picking on me? No,
Right.
we're not picking on you. That's not winning football. Winning football. You're not winning with that kind of stuff. So now the next guy coming in at Cleveland has to deal with that crap.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see who takes that job. I got to be honest with you. It'll be very interesting.
I agree.
Pete Carroll let go from Vegas 1 year, 3-14, and that's after winning yesterday. Secured the number 1 overall pick and then got the third prize. They keep their GM. By the way, Barry, the GM in Cleveland, stays too, and I've got a bunch of fans, a bunch of friends from Cleveland don't like that move at all.
Yeah.
And again, Exhibit A, Watson, Exhibit B, drafting Gabriel and Sanders. I mean, that's their defense or their prosecution. And I'm not sure I can really argue. Jonathan Gannon, gone from Arizona, 15-36. Yeesh. They were 2-0. Remember when they were 2-0? They finished 3-14.
Does anybody
14?
Would anybody take Kyler Murray as a reclamation player from Arizona?
No, he's a backup somewhere. I don't think he's a starter anymore.
No, and he's the same guy, entitled, came out of whatever he was doing. Just you just don't see it. He's a dynamic athlete, but you just don't see it with him at all.
Arizona keeps their GM as well. Bengals decided to keep Zach Taylor, which I think was a little surprising. Although, listen, Burrow hasn't played a full season, in 3 years. You can't really fault him for that. Director of Player Personnel Duke Tobin also stays. I had to check this fact a couple of times. He's been the Director of Player Personnel since 2002.
Yeah, well, that's the Bengals.
Is he a part of Mike Brown's family?
I'm sure there's something to it.
Pictures?
I'm sure there's something to it. if you dug into it, you say, "Oh, that's why." That's Bengali of them. They are
cheap.
The Browns and the Bengals are interesting. They're similar in their ways of messing things up, or they mess things up, not in the same way though. The Bengals are cheap. The Browns are stupid.
Yeah. And then Joe Shane stays with the Giants. I know you're a Jets fan. I know you have Giant fan friends. I do too. That's not being well received at all. At all.
That's a bad move.
So, and by the way, let's give props to Myles Garrett, now the all-time single season sack leader. Got one with about 5 minutes to go. You look at it and you say, well, did Burrow really go down? Kind of similar to what Brett Favre did, but he was going to get sacked. He
didn't want to take the hit.
Yeah, he didn't want to take it. He was basically like, all right, I don't want to get killed because, I'm a China doll, for lack of a better term. So, but congratulations to Myles Garrett on that. So there you have what's coming up in the NFL this coming weekend. Again, the 941 Sports Zone presented by Mighty Dog Roofing of Southwest Florida. 941-251-4257 is the number. 941-251-4257. A couple things we want to hit on before we get on out of here. The Lightning are hot. Hot. They went out to the West Coast. This team, you look in their history, and I'm a big Lightning fan and I'm a big hockey fan. They have a history of going out to the West Coast and kicking some ass. I mean,
and nobody ever knows. And it's like the most. What happened? They won 3 in a row because they're out there and nobody's paying attention to the games.
Beat Anaheim in overtime. The Kings game was interesting. Going to the final TV timeout with under 6 minutes to go, they were down 3-2. Boom, boom, boom. 3 goals. They win 5-3. And then they just destroyed San Jose the other night, 7-3. Come home to take on a Colorado team that only suffered their 3rd regulation loss last night, Sunday night, as we're recording, in South Florida, as the Panthers, who came off the dreadful showing in the Winter Classic, the Rangers kicked their butt up and down the field. Down the field. Well, it was on the field. Yeah, the ice
Yes,
was
it was
on
on
the
a
field.
field. Yes.
Up and down the ice. They came back after Paul Maurice undressed them a little bit, their coach, and they beat Colorado 2-1. So Colorado will be in Tampa on Tuesday night, and they're going to be a little bit angry, I would think.
Yeah.
This
No
time
doubt
around.
about that. No doubt.
Yeah.
And like I said, Colorado last year, if I'm not mistaken, they were just as hot regular season last year as they are this year.
Right.
And so
Got knocked
they
off
are
early in the
they are a
playoffs.
team on a mission right now. Sometimes you see those teams and they kind of stand out because they put together 3 periods every game. That's why they're winning regulation so much.
Yep.
But I do like the temperament and the explosiveness of the Lightning.
Mhm.
And I give all credit to John Cooper again.
No,
he's just
he's the GOAT.
dude.
He's the GOAT in Tampa Bay. I'm sorry. He's the best coach in Tampa history. Any sport, it's not even close. I know Gruden won a Super Bowl, but he's won 2 cups, got them to 3 straight finals. And he's doing this. Remember, the Lightning kind of mortgaged the future to continue to compete. They got a lot of guys that are low round picks or undrafted picks that are contributing on this team. And Cooper has just done a wonderful job with the Lightning. And of course, he's the coach of Team Canada as well. The folks up north certainly know that he's the best coach going. I don't think there's any question about that. So the Olympics coming up next month, believe it or not, about a month away from the start of the Olympics.
Love Winter Olympics.
Yes.
Love it. Because like there's such a uniqueness to what they do. We don't get to see it nearly as much on TV. The speed of skiing, the
skating,
the biathlon, all those different things that just come into it. Now that the introducing the X Games into it with the snowboarders and all that stuff, really, really cool stuff. They always frame it. It's a great viewing thing on TV. They'll have pictures of the mountains and whatnot. It'll be fantastic. And I do believe because they're in Italy that there'll be enough live action that we'll be able to see a lot of stuff, in prime time or thereabouts. That'll be pretty good as well. But no, I love Winter Olympics. All of it just sort of has its place as an Olympic. The sports itself, they just have a really cool vibe to them. I love it.
Yeah. All right, locks of the week. I mentioned it earlier. John, you've taken the lead. Your Miami pick. You picked it 2 weeks ago, so you sat on it and scored to go to 9-6. I had Carolina on the money line. If I had just taken them in the spread was 3, but I was thoroughly convinced they were going to win the game. So I am now 8-7. I already told you what mine is. I'm taking the Bears and the 1.5 at home against Green Bay.
Okay.
I don't see it, but all right. John?
I am going to Indiana over Oregon. Indiana
over Oregon. Lay the 4 and pick Indiana.
I think there's going to be a statement made. I think Oregon has the ability to beat them. I just don't see it at this point. The travel will affect Oregon a little bit. Dante Moore's going to play out of his mind for them to win the game. I don't see Indiana making mistakes. I don't see Indiana having. I'm not saying it's going to be a walkover, but I don't think that the game's going to be in doubt after the second or third quarter. Wow. Yeah, I just see it. Now here's the deal: the next one, no matter who it is, if it's Miami or it's Ole Miss, it could be all time good.
Well, it would be Miami on their home field,
right? And so everything lays out right now is a great story. Any winner, any game matchup is a winner. That's what's so exciting about it. If Ole Miss gets there, boy, would it just be fantastic to see that kind of happen. You left because they couldn't win a championship, and here they are right there without you. What do you know?
Yeah, without him, but he laughs all the way to the bank.
Good. Listen, money nowadays that's what he's about. That's what he's about. Okay, he can go take what he should do, because he didn't do anything really much to earn it. Whatever money they're giving him, he should go out there and give it to charity.
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah,
but
he's giving it to the Lane Kiffin charity.
absolutely, because that's what he's about. Let's stuff it in his pockets. He's good, right?
Yeah.
He's a carpetbagger. That's what they do.
Yes.
They go every 5 years. They're someplace else. It's what he's done. But anyway, Ole Miss is a great story. Miami obviously would be a fantastic story just based on this year alone. Indiana, we know that there's that story. So those stories playing out would be fantastic. I think
Absolutely.
great. So Indiana over Oregon is my call.
All right, laying the 4. All right, time for our final segment. What's bugging me, John? I'll let you lead off.
Well, Rich, it's kind of funny because like some of the things I get caught up in are, you know, you're watching these games and they're just fantastic football games. You know, you watch them and you say to yourself, look at that Pittsburgh-Baltimore game. Look at, you know, going through all the different games that had something on the line. They meant something. And you're watching both in college and pro, these guys who are, let's face it, college athletes are pros now. Let's not pretend they're not. They're professional athletes. When it matters and these guys step up and perform and put it out there, there's no better sport to watch than football. It's the king by a landslide. But when it sucks and it's bad and the teams don't show up to play, okay, it's embarrassing.
Now, who could you possibly be talking about?
But it could be, I'm going to say that the one team I'm going to talk about, which is the Jets, all right, for sure. A no-show, not even trying to win the football game. The uniforms they had, I had a shiver up my spine. I remember being 11 years old in 1976 and watching that same uniform getting their ass kicked all the time. I'm like, oh, God, look, the same looks like the same numbers, the same nobodies we don't know.
Kind of like when the Bucks wear orange. Ugh.
Who is it? Who are these teams, right? But there's even more to that scenario. There's other teams. I mean, I know Kansas City that they're hurt, but the Raiders, 12-11 is the game. It's a shame that we've dragged the season out to 17 weeks of football, actual football. 18 weeks of football season. Am I right? Or 19 weeks now?
No, it's 18. It's 18. One bye so far. I think it goes once they get the CBA. I think it's going to be 18 weeks and 20.
And now you're watching the crappiest form of football you can watch when one team doesn't give a shit and the other teams is just and they play out the string. I know what happens, but it's just hard to look at and watch and hard to think that if you're a crappy team playing out the string, and that's what you put out at the end of the year, that somehow next year, game 1, you're going to be a contender or a better than average team or whatever. You'd be lucky to go from 3 wins to 6 wins based on what you've done because you waste an entire year of football on this crap experiment, and now you're going to go into it and go get a bunch of young guys, which you should, and hopefully this GM or coach or whatever organization uses them wisely and picks the right guys, and not just the first round guys, because that's easy. It's the second, third, fourth. How do you manipulate the draft? How do you get more players? If everybody is that shitty to play that game that way, then you're almost going to look everybody in the eye and say, man, I can't believe that you guys did this and you played, and this is your professionals. I would be like, maybe I don't want any of you back. Who knows? Because what if you cleaned house of all 53 guys? What would be the difference at this point?
Right.
0-16 or 0-17? I don't know. But at some point, you got to look at it and say, based on that performance, is there even a chance you could be good next year? And the answer to me is no. You're not going to be good. You might be better, but what is better? 5-6 wins. It's ridiculous. So it's very hard for me to see games that was Mike Tirico's call last night. You know, I had a bug in me with Gus Johnson a couple of weeks back with the Penn State, Indiana. Mike Tirico showed as much enthusiasm as anybody I've seen with the call. But he's eloquent and he did it in the right context. He showed the proper amount of excitement, and it resonated with me as the fan to hear him getting excited and watching it. Even the prelude to it, the last game, the last play of the last game of the year puts the last team in the playoffs, and it goes right. I mean, you couldn't have built the drama any better than that.
Right.
But anyway, great football. mixed in with absolutely shitty football is embarrassing. It stands out when you see how good it could be.
Yeah, no question. Good. What's bugging me? Absolutely. What's bugging me is, the Raiders. The Raiders are bugging me. Am I a Raider fan? No. Matter of fact, I've never liked the Raiders. My cousin Jamie is a lifelong Raider fan, and I kind of feel for him. What's bugging me is that I mentioned earlier that John Spytek, the general manager, is going to be heading the search for a new coach.
But I know where you're going.
Yes, I know you know where I'm going. He's going to have an accomplice.
Yes, he is.
That accomplice is one Tom Brady.
The most interesting man in the world.
Yeah, the one with the statue outside of the stadium here in Foxborough.
Absolutely.
The one that calls games for Fox.
Right.
At some point, somebody's got to step in. He's either, and I mean, he's a minority owner, but Mark Davis comes right out and says basically it's going to be Spytek and Brady who pick the next coach. At some point, there's got to be a separation of duties or something. He's either got, and he calls NFC games mostly, so that I'll give him. But still, I don't, I've seen it a couple times this year. The Raiders would play on Monday night. He calls his game on Sunday, goes Monday, he's in the booth. He's got a headset on. He's listening to what's going on the sideline. Which is it? Okay. Has he improved in the booth? Slightly. I still find him, I don't think he brings enough to the table for as smart as he is.
He is not a genuine human being.
Oh, now that's going a little far there, young man.
Listen. My meaning by that is that he is measured in everything he does.
Yes. No question.
Okay. So there's, and I don't know if he watches the football game the way we watch the football game.
Probably
I think he watches the football game and says, I'm better than that. I'm better than that. I'm better than that. I'm better than that. And so he does that kind of a thing. And maybe he is. And I'm going to pile on because you're seeing this is so like, it's very, very sort of, you get the reasoning behind why there's a problem with this.
Yeah.
And the problem is this is Tom Brady 101. This is what he has been all along. I can do with the ball. I didn't do anything with the ball. I didn't throw my phone out. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. I didn't do this. He is always looking to be the exception to the rule. I'm Tom Brady and you're not. Remember that Saturday Night Live skit?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. I'm Tom Brady. What do you mean I can't do this? What are you saying, that I'm going to use my platform as a Raider with the Fox to help the Raiders? Of course you are, Tom, because you're a cheater from the beginning. You've always been that guy, okay? And cheating sounds so like, oh, he's not a cheater. Everybody bends the rules. Everybody steals signs. Everybody does this. I get it. But when you do something, and let's say in the case of the deflated ball, you say, hey, you know what? I do like the balls a little softer. I do like that feel for it. Hey, maybe we got to the limit. It's a mistake. I do ask the balls to be right at the edge, and it got cold, and the ball shrunk a little bit. We'll try to do better. We'll pump them up a little bit more. End of story. Mm-hmm. There is no more story. And here we are 12 years removed from it, and we're still talking about this. And it's carried its way with him, and he's still doing things to prove he went to the Buccaneers and he won a championship for himself, but to stick it to Bill Belichick. Because I don't need you. I'm the one who did this, right? Mm-hmm. Everything goes the same way for Tom Brady. It's always been that way. Always been that way. And so what you're saying is spot on. Here he goes again. Gonna push the envelope, gonna dare everybody to tell him what he can't do and act righteous and upset that it's gonna come down. Watch how he reacts if he gets a negative attitude. He'll be all about, I can't understand it. It's just the way he does things. And to me, it's not even a point of like saying right or wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong. You want to be an announcer? Be an announcer.
Right.
You can't do 20 different things and have them all be convoluted together. It doesn't work.
Yeah. All right.
So yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, I can't agree more with you. It's spot on. It's spot on. And people look at
And
that
as long as Roger Goodell lets it happen, there's really nothing we can do about it. That's the point. Yeah.
So when people start to say things like conspiracy theorists say, "Oh, sports are fixed," blah 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 blah. You know who's going to win. End of the game, nothing happens, and all of a sudden there's an offensive as a pass interference penalty, and then they're going to win. That's how it always works. Sometimes when you see shit like this, you say to yourself, maybe that conspiracy theory isn't so,
off the
out
wall.
there.
Right.
Maybe they do want some people to win. Maybe marketing. I'm a marketer. I got my degree in marketing. Maybe marketing is more important than integrity sometimes, because we want people to watch football and make us some damn money. And who loses other than the fan? The owners? They can give a crap. You think the guy who comes in, think the
Money's
Raiders owner is worried about is that much unhappier than the guy at the top? No, he's making the same money. What does he care? He gets to play games in a palace in Las Vegas. We're 3-12, 14.
3-14.
Who cares, right? I'm good. But we're marketing well. We've sold a lot of jerseys.
Mm-hmm.
We're good with that. So some of it's got to be, I think the next commissioner, and I'm sure the owners will hire somebody just similar to Roger Goodell, will be a little bit more, maybe a little bit more about the game than about lining the pockets of his $1 million jacket and all the owners as well. So we'll see.
All right. And there you have it. Episode number 20 of the 941 Sports Zone, football centric, a little hockey. And we'll be incorporating some basketball in.
How can it not be football centric? It takes the air out of the room.
Yeah, it does.
Just to continue the conversation for a second. Did you watch Sports Center last night at all after it was over with?
Which one? Scott?
Anyone?
I watched it. Mm-hmm.
There's nothing else they can talk about except football.
Right.
I mean, they got to be fair to their.
They'll throw a little association in there.
A tad.
And even
really
less hockey.
What it's come down to, the meat of the show is football, and the top 10s are the highlights for the NBA. Look, it was an alley-oop to so-and-so, and Steph hit a fadeaway from the bathroom, and like that kind of thing. And but it's hard not to be. We try hard even with the local scene to try not to be it, but it every story is layered, and there's drama, and there's controversy, and there's all the different stuff to the sport, and it's hard not to be focused on it, because it's the first 10 headlines. As you're looking up stuff, it's the first 10 headlines is this, and it'll be that way until mid-February. And everybody go, okay, basketball's here, and let's get back to the winter. The Olympics will take a little bit. There'll be a little draw on the Olympics. Yeah. Although it's pretty cool that NBC's doing the Olympics, and the Super Bowl is going to be wrapped around the Olympics. That's
correct. Yep. Very interesting travel schedule from one Mike Tirico. You were talking about him.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to head to Italy and then come back to the Super Bowl and back to Italy. It's going to be interesting.
He'll earn his money, that's for sure.
No question about it. All right, that'll do it. Episode 20 in the can. 21 coming up next week. We'll be in the divisional round of the playoffs. We'll know who the national championship duo is. We'll talk a little more hockey, basketball, spring training's around the corner. Start hearing bats and balls before too long, especially where you are, John. Got a lot of teams in our immediate area down there with the Rays in Port Charlotte and the Braves in Welland Park, and just a lot of stuff happening in Southwest Florida.
The roads got jammed up for the first time today. Wait till spring Braves and the Rays are playing on the same day. There's no.
I haven't had a chance to experience that yet. I'd be interested.
It's interesting because everything's flowing, and it can be a real. If you're in the wrong spot, last year I had a tee time at Riverwood, and the Rays were playing, and I went the wrong way.
Oops. Yep.
I said, I'll miss it. I'm going to go this way. I went 41, and that was the worst way to go instead of
coming absolutely. You got to come 776.
Right, because Riverwood's on that side of it.
Yeah, correct. That's where my co-host. That's where my co-host of my show lives, Carrie Black.
Gotcha.
So Speaking of, I'll be starting to do a little more with the station. We're going to be doing sports reports on the weekends.
Excellent.
So look forward to that. Glad we went down the Riverwood Road because
crank it up. Let's go.
Crank it up, baby. That's right.
No
Cranking
doubt.
it up. So we'll look forward to my sports reports on Saturday and Sunday on WENG, which is 1530 AM, 107.5 and 98.1 FM, covering all of Sarasota and Charlotte counties. All right, John, let's wrap it up until next Monday, at least live portion. Remember, you can see this Facebook, X, Instagram, YouTube.
I put it out on YouTube. I put it out on as much as anywhere I can sort of forward it to everybody.
Please like us and subscribe.
Yes, and I will tell you this again. It's always funny how things go, and they're sort of like you go. Now, over the holidays, seeing more people I haven't seen in a little bit. People are out and about a little bit more. Hey, you know what? I caught your podcast the other day. How long have you been doing that for? I'm like, don't even worry about it. We've been doing it off the air for about 15 years.
Exactly.
So no worries, but but that's definitely happening. You got that? Yeah, that's me. That's Rich. No doubt about it. No doubt.
All right. For John, not wide right, Masoni, I'm Spitz. We'll have another live podcast next Monday. Look for it. Until then, so long, everybody.